Hey everybody, it's September 17th, 2023, and so I had every intention of having a really productive day today, and I had quite the opposite actually. I was going to get up really early and go hiking this morning with my friend Kara, but I got home really late from the play last night because we went out afterwards, and by the time I got home and got to bed, it was like, I don't know, maybe like 1 o'clock. So getting up at like 6:30 to go for a 7:30 hike wasn't like the worst thing in the world, except that I had such a great workout with Kevin yesterday, and I haven't been to the gym in a couple of years. Well, maybe over a year. And so just working out again, my legs are so sore. And I told Kevin, even if you watch the video, I go, Kev, we can't do legs. I got to do hiking tomorrow. But we just did like a full body workout. And so just due to that, my body was just like, oh, okay, I don't like this. We're sore. And then, and it's crazy because I've been walking up and down the stairs all day long, and I cannot, my body is just, oh my God, I'm so sore. But it's a good thing because I want to be focused on my health. And actually today I did really good. Been eating fairly healthy. I'm actually not like ridiculously hungry either, so that's pretty good. But then I was going to go to a pool party today, except that the weather is really overcast. It's not too hot, but it's really oddly overcast. And I don't know, I had such the most productive day yesterday. I got up so early and I was all over the place yesterday. And I think it was just like, I got to get up for a set tomorrow early. So I kind of just wanted a chill day today. But since I'm sore, I kind of just sat, I got some writing done, which is kind of nice to do on my weekends, on a day off where I can just sit and write for a couple hours. I am about to sit down and watch a movie, I think, on Prime Video, because I haven't really watched a movie. I mean, I usually go to the movies with, like, Blake, but I haven't, like, watched a movie at home. So, it is just a nice, relaxing Sunday. I don't usually let myself, like, lie down and sort of just veg for the day. But like I said, my legs are so sore. Because I had the most amazing workout. And so now the thing is I have to stay motivated to go. So I do have Planet Fitness. Actually, Kev has Planet Fitness, which is why we went. And I have the black card. So, and I did that so that way, like, so the good thing is there's one right up the street that's opening. And I'm excited because I could actually walk to that location. But in the meantime, I have to drive to all the locations. And they're not, like, ridiculously far. But being able to just, like, walk to the gym, like 4 blocks would be so amazing. So I want to do that. But that's probably not going to open up until, like, the end of the month. So I'll go to the one in like, Burbank where I trained with Kev yesterday. But I want to try and go. So I got the black card because, based on where I'm filming, I can go after work. So, if, like, especially if I get off at, like, I'm sorry, I'm so tired. Especially if I get off at, like, maybe 6 or something. Sometimes, we get off at, like, especially if I do commercials, sometimes we get off at, like, 5 or 6. And then traffic is crazy. So if I could just find a gym, I just go and do some cardio for like 30 minutes. That could kill some time. Also, sometimes I do travel. Like, I've gone down to San Diego for work. I got friends in Phoenix. And so when I do travel like that, it's nice to be able to have a Planet Fitness that I could just go and do some stuff. But not going to weight train for the next few days because I want to sit down with Kevy and create sort of like a program. But I do want to do cardio because I want to start losing weight first. So cardio and diet are like the 2 biggest things I got to work on. Sometimes working on set is tough because, like, you just have, like, long days and there's a lot of downtime, and sometimes it can get a little bit, like, I mean, dare I say boring, but it's like, when you just sit around waiting, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I keep yawning, but when you're sitting around waiting for, like, the next set, sometimes you kind of just go to craft services, and so it can become like I could just eat crap all day long. So there's that. So I have to really pay attention when I'm eating. I have like an app on my phone that helps me track all of my calories and stuff. So I really got to pay attention to that. With that said, I do want to reference something I had said last night, I think. So I was seeing a play. It was actually a series of 1 acts, 5 little short plays that dealt with suicide prevention. So they were about suicide. And the cool thing is I talked to the producer because she's a friend of mine. She's the one that introduced me. And I told her that, for next year when they do the show, I want to submit a play because, I had a play produced back in 2011. And I haven't done any I haven't done a play since then. I haven't written any other plays. I haven't had any ideas. And I think it'd be kind of fun to just do something. They're meant to be a little more, I mean, it's going to be weird to say like lighthearted. Like they're not supposed to be like really in depth, sort of like emotional. Although one of them last night just like got to me because um, it dealt with a mother and a daughter who were having a conversation about the mother's, her dementia. And of course, my mother just passed away, and that's not what she died from. She was she had COPD, like I said, because she was a heavy smoker. But from the lack of oxygen she was getting, she had developed dementia. And I just remember having the conversation about how scared she was, and there'd be times where we would repeat the same conversation, or she would forget things, or she would mix things up. And so, like that particular play last night, like just wrecked me. I was like bawling in the audience. And I also did mention that there was a time that I had been suicidal. There was years ago. I mean, years ago in my 20s, I think I had, I say I tried very loosely because at the time I had back pain or had back surgery and I had some Vicodin and I wanted to take the whole bottle. And I don't remember. I mean, it was the stupidest thing. I look back on it now and the whole thing was so stupid. The things that got in my head, And I just remember being so frustrated and scared. I remember calling my friend Denise at the time. We were coworkers. And I told her what I was thinking about doing. And I just remember so vividly the like fear in her voice and like just like almost anger and just like concern. And she rushed over and she stayed the night here. But where I was living at the time, just to like keep an eye on me. And I didn't do anything. I wouldn't, and I didn't do it. I won't do it. But I just remember that and hearing her fear. I made a promise I would never do it. And I've kept that promise, and I'm not suicidal in any way. I don't ever want people to think that, but I think that there was, because it had a Q&A afterwards, and they were talking about this term called, it was more of like passive suicide. I guess I might be saying that wrong, but, and I used to be a crisis counselor. I have to really point this out. I was a crisis counselor for maybe about a year or two, and at the same time, I was also a hospice volunteer. I don't know what was going through me, but that was so intense, both things together. But I remember talking to people about suicide and just other health issues and mental issues and stuff. But there was a term that they were talking about last night where people who are passive are the kind of people that like talk about it. I want to give up. No one will miss me when I'm gone. I'm so tired of bothering you. And it's funny because I find that sometimes when things are very overwhelming, and I've been like this probably the last year or so, that I use that sort of language. And I didn't realize it. I think it wasn't until I went last night and I heard that I was like, oh, damn, I kind of talk like that. And so what was so great about the play last night was that it was trying to take away the stigma of the stigma of suicide, or people how look at it. And somebody had said one thing that was very interesting is they don't use the term I committed suicide or tried to commit suicide, because commit makes it seem like there's a crime, and it's not a crime. It's more like it's just owning up to the fact that maybe you have an issue that you just need to address. For instance, I find that my life is not always going in the direction that I want it, and that frustrates me. And at the time, my mother was very sick, and my mother was very close to me, and I always wanted my mother to see me successful. And sadly, now both she and my grandmother, who I was also very close to, have passed on, and I still feel like I'm trying to reach some sort of pinnacle of my career. And so I think those things sort of put that in my mouth, and then it's like, I am so focused on my career. So, I don't always take time to like cultivate a lot of friends per se. And I don't always cultivate relationships when it comes to even dating. And so I think, of course, that doesn't really come into my mind until I go through the holidays, but, hearing that and just, and hearing those things and realizing that like, there is a stigma behind it, and realizing that it's okay to have these thoughts, but it's also okay to get the help that you need. And I thought that was so great because we don't really talk about it, Now, thankfully, I have never, ever, that I'm aware of, have never lost anybody to suicide. And I'm so thankful for that because I know that it affects people negatively, because I think a lot of people who are sort of left behind sort of feel like that the person was very selfish because they took their life. So I am so glad that I've never experienced at least that, but I have some friends like from last night that have, and it was so great. The plays were so good. The actors are phenomenal. And like just sort of being around those people that had suffered this loss and seeing how that they were able to move on and survive, even though I'm not dealing with that with like my mother, being around people, I guess, who have dealt with that and have moved on, kind of felt like it gave me some sort of validation of being able to forgive my grief. So it's interesting that I saw, because I was talking to one of the actresses last night in that play about dementia, that she reminded me so much of my mother, first of all. And I was talking to her afterwards, and I said, it's so interesting that I came to see a bunch of plays that dealt with suicide and was still able to get something out of it. So last night was extremely cathartic in a lot of ways. And I'm glad that I took the opportunity to go see that. And I also haven't seen live theater in a while. And I love theater. Like I said, I had a play produced, and I actually have acted in plays before. I grew up in theater when I was a kid. I grew up a singer, and I grew up an actor. And so, it was nice. So, I just want to preface this by saying, if for some reason you are depressed and you are having terrible suicidal thoughts, there is a number you can call. And I'm going to, I think I have a card right here, but the number is, oh my God, I'm going to say it. I might be wrong. So give me 1 second. I really want to give you the right number. Where's it at? I have it on my desk. So the number is, 988. You just dial 988. And you can get the resources. You can get somebody to talk to. And I'm probably going to call it too, because I think that's important for me to, just talk about it. I mean, I love that I have this vlog. I find the vlog to be extremely cathartic. Just because I can talk, and then you guys all seem to give back positive feedback, but, just sort of saying the things that bother me out loud, I guess, one, it validates the feelings that I have, but two, sometimes it makes me listen to it and go, oh, maybe that's not so bad, or maybe that doesn't feel so insurmountable that I can't pass it. So, I think sort of the first step to that is sort of accepting that maybe there are feelings that you have that need to be dealt with, and need to be addressed. And then realizing that, because I think in this country, therapy in itself, people don't want to go to therapy because there's another stigma around it. But healthcare in this country is frustrating. It's very expensive. We don't have great access to it for a lot of people, especially if you're poor or younger. And so, mental health is a health issue. And I think that there's not enough conversation about mental health. And so, it's like I said, there's a weird stigma around it. And we need to break that down and start talking about it, because it's very, very important. Depression. I mean, I saw so many people get depressed during the pandemic, because it was such a weird sort of like strange time, because everything was closed down. A lot of people were just completely alone, and felt isolated. And then people were getting sick and dying, and we couldn't go visit them. And I just think in a lot of ways that sort of like weighed heavily on people's psyche, and then like we weren't working a lot, so people weren't making as much money. And I think, I dealt with that by drinking. I have to own that. And, that was my worst thing. That's part of the reason why I'm going back to the gym. It's because I want to be able to get past that. And I want to get past my depression, and I want to get past my insecurities, because I want to be a better version of me, and I want to be a better version of me for the people that I'm around. So this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for me, and I have to do it for me. And I know it's not going to be easy, but like, again, I have Kev, and Kevin's very good at like checking in and being there when I need to talk. And I am so grateful for him for that. So, so thank you so much for my friend Kelly and Ale and Salim for putting together, it's called A Light from the Darkness. I should probably when I want to talk about things, I should probably get more organized, but I just kind of picked up the phone and started talking. But it was called A Light in Dark Places, and it was called Plays for Hope. So, A Light from Dark Places, they are Instagram. You can reach out to them. And then, of course, 988, like I said, if you just want to talk. So I hope everybody had a great weekend. It's crazy to think that it's almost Monday and we got to go back to work. But again, I'm grateful to be working this SAG interim project during the strike. I know that work right now is so slow for us, and we are all just struggling and trying to hang on, which again is just coming off of the pandemic and into this. It's like we all barely sort of started to recover and then we crashed again. So I know it's really, really, really affecting a lot of people. And I don't have a solution. I don't have an answer. I wish that it would end soon. We can only keep our fingers crossed. But I am taking today off. Like I said, I did write a little bit just to get some creative energy and juices going. But I'm going to just enjoy a nice, quiet evening. And, sort of reflecting on all of my feelings from last night. So I think I got to figure that out. So anyways, I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. You have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow on Monday. All right. Take care.